pool earlier heading into this draft. Another thing I do want to highlight with the Aurora Azir super flex that came out, you know, from DSG and the Orianna ban, all the safe control mages for Darkwings are gone. So he will have to go a slightly different direction. Has a very deep champion pool. I'm not really too worried about him being able to pilot something effectively. It's just a matter of what that champion ends up being.
Huck, guess what? There's no more Trundle. It's gone from the Fearless.
It's beef time, baby.
It's time for me. Sion locked in. Sejuani locked in. The Kaisa also left open, was banned in the previous 2 games, will be grabbed by DSG.
And this is a big pick for Rahel to be able to get. I will say, this opens up Tactical to pick one of his more electric hyper carries. Something like the Tristana coming to mind, not punished in lane by the Kaisa. And against the wall in this series, I would not hate to see that direction. I like this Rell as well for Zeyzal. I think Zeyzal's been having a very good series, can get the shield break in onto the Kaisa and the Sion if you are accurate with the pick.
The next follow-up coming in, I mean, we're getting meat all day on Luminosity's side. Rell, Aatrox, FakeGod gonna have to go to something tried and true when it comes to brawling out a lot of these fights. Something he has picked up within the summer over in that split 2 of NACL. Now here's the tricky one. Poppy is always a threat when you have a lot of this forward momentum, a lot of these dashes that you're looking to try and execute on. Poppy's steadfast presence stops that in its place.
Expecting this to be an eXyu Poppy this game. It's another one of those more early game oriented playmakers. Definitely a more defensive pick though. And eXyu not going to be able to go on those solo missions that I think we saw him, for better or worse, going on in the first couple of games. My biggest question is still what the pick is for Tactical. I think LG needs to put their eggs in his basket, and Sanity really has just not done enough in this series for me for Tactical to be on anything less than a hyper carry. But Huhi is going to have the luxury of that support R5 counter pick to try to get something to really put Rahel and himself in a good position to fight against Tactical and Zeyzal.
It's going to be so hard to say. Rahel and Rell, both in the same game.
The Rell hell. That's what happens if Zeyzal hit the God engage onto him, okay?
All right. And you mentioned the hyper carries. I can see the focus coming out of DSG. They're saying we're not going to allow those hyper carries to go through. Smolder taken off the map. They're not going to allow for the Dragon stack to come through, get those executions, as well as Jinx to get excited. For the side of Luminosity, they are targeting Huhi. They're taking away a lot of this engage that could potentially be picked up by DSG by banning away both Leona and Nautilus.
I'm about to see like a Tarek. Like all the tanks are gone. Thresh is maybe a pick, but not something you would typically see with Kaisa. I can't think of another engage-oriented support that Kaisa would really want to play with on the bottom side of the map for Huhi. Again, I'm expecting it to be R5 for him. I don't think you have a reason. Okay, Huhi. Okay. Yes, please give me Tactical Tristana. No, don't pick Ezreal. Do it. Pick Tristana.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what they're going for here. I would like the Tristana. Tristana's always been a...
It's good here. It's a good angle against Kaisa. And I think Ezreal is so vegan, man.
You can buffer out of the rocket grab from Blitzcrank if you time it well with the rocket jump. If you do take that Tristana, but no! Instead, it's gonna be Ezreal. Hey, that can also buffer out of the grab, but maybe not as exciting, Hawk.
It's so defensive, though. It just... Look, I mean, Tactical is going to be able to do a lot of damage on this pick, but anytime in a Bell with not the best scaling damage, anytime I see a pick like this against Sion and a Poppy to boot, that is going to be a wall that LG has to burn through. And I think FakeGod on this Aatrox now, I look to him to be the hero up against Castle in the tank matchup, because I just do not think this pick from Tactical is a carnivore pick, and we already talked about how much beef there is on the other side.
Yeah. One of my big worries is like, who kills Castle? It's very hard to burn through a late game Sion when he becomes this brick wall of a man, when you don't have a big enough steak knife or a sharp enough steak knife to actually get through the Sion. That's going to be a tricky one. There is some funny interactions coming through as the Mel gets locked in for Insanity. I hope to see it once where Huhi tries to rocket grab over the wall and just gets pulled in after it gets shielded by Insanity. well, my hopes and dreams on the line over here, but this is the last chance for Luminosity, Huck. And how are you feeling about the composition?
I've already stated my concerns for LG. I really think there's responsibility on FakeGod to have a big game because Aatrox is a very good champion against this DSG composition. It is short range, and there's a lot of people that you can wail on, but I mean, you need to be strong enough to weather the storm of CC that will come out and the DPS of Kaisa and that they need in this game.
It's gonna be a tough one because it is now match point. Backs against the wall for Luminosity Gaming as they face off against a 2-0 Disguised.
Now, I will say, similarly to game one, I do have some damage concerns for Disguised in the mid stages of the game before Ryze hits that big 2-item stacked spike and Kaisa needing to get to those evolutions. I do think that is a window where LG can definitely look to play the game. It got them into a winning position in that first game. You would have to think if they find themselves there again, they'll be able to close it out with their series on the line.
Still don't think it's the worst angle to go for Luminosity Gaming. Tomio will feel very comfortable on these tanks, and of course Zeyzal as well. Zeyzal has been a phenomenal engager in the past on pretty much every team he's been on. It kind of showed with that last game that we had with the Nico. Even though it wasn't the most effective, there were moments where we were like, Luminosity Gaming's not in this, and then he would get the right targets. Rell still allows you that level of engage to come through. Insanity looking to trade in the mid lane with Darkwings.
Yeah, Mel is really fun to lane against. I'm a bit surprised that Ryze was the R5, to be honest, just given the range advantage that Mel does dictate, as Darkwings is desperately trying to hit level 2 to be able to trade back, but I mean, he's taken quite a bit of damage for it.
It's always that Q that comes out. The range is like
the surely dodgeable skill shot that Mel has.
Yeah, Radiant Volley. The range is like surprisingly long, so every time you walk up to a minion, even if you think you're out of range, it's probably going to clip you at least a little bit, and you can see that Darkwings suffering from that quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, even though he only gets hit by about half the channel, it's just enough to proc that Scorch, proc that Comet, and continue taking damage. He does still have a pot available, and Sanity has chewed through both of his, so, I mean, he's not trading back too badly, and again, control over the way for the Ryze is nice to see. Interestingly, we do see a bit of a cheeky level 3 here from eXyu.
Hook comes in from Huhi. It is going to lock down Zeyzal for a little bit. eXyu looking for more. We'll get the heroic charge going through. Zeyzal only at half health. Decimating smash is not enough damage. It's just 3 tanky boys trying to find a kill.
For the second game in a row, eXyu going for a very aggressive early look, and for the second game in a row, doesn't really work out for him. He went Raptors, cleared his bot side camps, and then found the timer as LG was trying to find the 3-wave crash on the bottom side, but it just didn't really have the lockdown to keep Zeyzal in place. So Tomio, yet again, going to be out to an early camp advantage in this jungle 1 versus 1.
Huhi spotting this out. Was looking for a cheeky grab on the scuttle more than anything else, but too quick. Tomio will lock it down now, looking for the setup onto the dive of Castle. Sure, Sion gets meaty, but not at the early stages. Holding the turret aggro's Tomio. He's taking a lot of damage in the process, but look who is here. It is Huhi. He'll find the first blood off the rocket grab, and Tomio slips up.
Level 2 Blitzcrank making plays. He ends last game with a triple. He starts game 3 with a first blood, but I do think it's a misplay from LG. The idea for the dive was good and a correct call from Luminosity. However, Zeyzal blew his entire combo thinking that Castle would get chain CC down, but he was able to flash a slip out. I think Zeyzal needs to hold on to the crash down until after Castle flashes. The mistake ends up costing Luminosity pretty big.
And you're trying to make Castle feel what FakeGod felt last game. You accidentally gave him a full freaking dinner, man. This is pretty brutal now as Castle, he might not be ahead in CS, But guess what? He just got an assist off of that thanks to Huhi showing up right place, right time.
And remember, we were just saying eXyu went for an ill-fated bot play and sort of wasted his time for it. Tomio had the individual advantage, immediately just gets squandered, and it's even worse for Luminosity. But good plays from support Huhi to be able to make it happen. I mean, it's always funny when supports get a kill like that, but it's definitely the correct call. He knows he's got nowhere else to be other than to make sure he's matching whatever aggression that LG looks to put down in the early stages.
Castle now going to catch his wave over on the top side off of the recall of FakeGod. We'll make sure that that CS difference shrinks down, and even FakeGod having to burn the teleport to get back in a timely manner. Not allow this free farm. Hex Flash set up by Huhi. Looks for Tactical. Doesn't find the angle. He was looking for the prediction on the Arcane Shift there.
Yeah, that one made me a little nervous. Tactical held onto the Arcane Shift long enough. Just ends up being cheeky little Essence Flex trade right there. I think the nice thing for FakeGod is that he's up a bit of experience on his opposite number, having been in that solo lane. Obviously, Huhi did try to give Castle as much free time as possible, but I think in a game where we say that this Aatrox all important for LG being able to extend what has been a very entertaining series so far, it's what you want to see if you're a fan of LG.
Tomio putting his eyes towards the bottom lane. There is a ward. Tomio doesn't have the necessary information to make this gank work. Hook comes out, but that's the thing about Ezreal. As long as you use your Arcane Shift after the hook cast, you will always buffer out of it. Now Huhi looking to step up. Here comes eXyu. He's stepping into 2. Insanity in the back line. Looking to find that snare. Gets it onto eXyu. And eXyu drops. Now Zeyzal still on the hunt. Stun not going to be found. Instead, Tomio finds the gray screen. Pulled right back in his Darkwings. Looking for another shot is Insanity as he gets the double kill. And Luminosity going to amend for their errors in the first dive.
They might even keep going. Rahel and Huhi are pretty low. I can't see with Rahel leveling up to 6. Okay, he does have his summoners. So it looks like LG gonna call off the play. That's a nice double. Mel, the damage doesn't scale. Oh, the best. He tried to pick off Huhi right there. Mana barrier saved him. Damage doesn't scale the best, but early kills, Mel can be really impressive if she gets going.
Yeah, when the Mel puts down that solar snare, it's always very.
This is the greatest replay of all time.
Oh my god!
that is the greatest replay of all time.
Why did we get action caps for that?
Dude, we gotta give support solo kills the credit that they're due. Like, come on. I know that technically Castle got an assist. That was a solo kill in my heart. Okay.
What the cinema, bro? Put that in the highlight reel. You got the multi-angle and everything. We love our producers out here. This is some fun stuff.
Yeah, that is Huhi definitely could take that one to the bank. I will say, pales in comparison to the fight that LG was able to find to equalize this game. eXyu does still have flash, but just gonna die.
Oh yeah, very quick. Feats of Warfare gonna be picked up on the side of Luminosity Gaming. eXyu, wrong place to be, man, and this is gonna allow Grubs, all 3 of them, to go over to Luminosity.
Yeah, just back-to-back mistakes from eXyu. This one not respecting the engage that can come out from LG. In the previous fight, it was bad clicks that got him into a bad position, and dying twice with flash up. That is, honestly, that's not great for the jungler of Disguise. And LG, they are definitively in the lead 8.5 minutes into this game 3.
I'm still thinking about the Huhi action shots.
Dude, we gotta get like a Blitzcrank fan cam at the end of this game. Like, you know, like one of those big edits where it like pauses and has like the boom, 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 and it's like him firing out the hook from like 4 different angles. Yeah.
The bullet time shots, yeah. It's the funny thing about Blitzcrank though, because like either he's going to be highly effective and a nightmare for the enemy team, or he ends up just being outright useless. It just depends on how good your rocket grabs are. But
that's the Blitzcrank theorem, Decerux. He could be the WOT for the entire game, but he hits one big hook and all of a sudden he's the GOAT.
The trashiest player in the world, suddenly one hook and everything has changed.
You can put an Iron player with Blitzcrank into an LCK game and you never know. They could just win the game for their team. That's the power of Blitz, baby.
To rule them all. Well, as we focus back onto this game, taking a look at where our junglers are. Surprised we're not getting the early dragons that we're normally used to. Both of these junglers have been forcing them from the early stages.
The devil.
And now finally we're getting some presence over there. FakeGod look to proxy against Castle this time.
FakeGod's actually down a surprising amount of CS given the matchup. So credit to Castle for continuing his early lane dominance.
And I mean, you have a decent amount of armor.
Wait, he's dead.
On the Castle,
FakeGod's
so
dead.
there's not much really FakeGod can do here. World Ender not going to be popped. eXyu coming right over the wall, and eXyu will take down FakeGod.
Yeah, FakeGod went for the proxy with his entire team setting up for Dragon, which is not inherently bad, but I think staying for what was already not a very good trade ends up dying for it. That's going to be FakeGod missing out on a much-needed wave, and eXyu picking up a much-needed kill.
I don't know, not the best look from FakeGod in the series so far. I mean, Castle, he has the chain vest done, so he has some armor along with the door and shield on top of it. So you're not taking down this Sion. You gave enough time for eXyu to get over there, help out, and finish up cleaning up that kill. And very unfortunate mistake to come out.
They're just getting individually outlaned. Not only that, Insanity, third game in a row that Darkwings is just up 15 CS. Obviously, Insanity has the 3 kills to his name, but the early individual solo laning for DSG has definitely turned it into an advantage in this matchup that is difficult to understate.
And I do like this so much for what we've seen from Darkwings and his year thus far. I've got to hold that thought because a rocky grab is coming in on to Zeyzal. I'm sorry, Zeyzal, you're not escaping this one. Tactical coming on the back line. I don't think that's enough damage to take down these 3 members of DSG. And they will sneak out another. Disguise getting a kill in the jungle.
Huhi continuing to make his presence felt in the series as nice try on the Realm Warp play from Disguise, but nothing doing. They have not spotted Tomio. They know he's in the area, but maybe could look for an engage on a Darkwings. Doesn't look like he's going to come out.
Oh no, FakeGod. Okay, flashes out of the hook, but that's a flash down nonetheless. Huhi is being a menace. He might be the MVP of this entire series as finally Luminosity get one of their own. Focusing on to eXyu. Hui's a menace. eXyu is kind of fumbling the ball at the moment now. Looking for the stun to come through. Finds it underneath the tower, but the minion wave is not there, so they don't have positioning to set up for the tower dive. You can see that DSG rather focus on the top side as they're calling Rahel to go for the dive on FakeGod. But now Darkwings is left by himself. Running in is Zeyzal, and that's a kill picked up for Tomio. But as above, so below, Rahel will take down FakeGod.
And it's really nice for Disguise that Rahel is the one to get the money for it. Cheeky little True Shot Barrage interrupt onto Castle's base does mean this might be a full tower for LG on the bottom side. So I do still think this is Luminosity winning out on the trade.
Oh, there goes Tomio. Still waiting for the tower to go down, and it will be secured. Now eXyu stepping up, looking to get the smash on to Zeyzal. With that, you do stun up Castle. You get the root coming through, but Insanity is rather low. Tomio gonna be on the defense. Decimating Smash finds the knockup. It's enough to protect the team and get first brick.
Oh, a touch and go disengage right there. The True Shot Barrage interrupt on a Castle's base actually being the difference as FakeGod now is arriving. Doesn't have the World Ender.
Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Oh, no, they're just...
far forward.
Okay, maybe eXyu is a menace. Alongside Castle, who are just, like, going deep into the enemy lines right now. Here comes Huhi once again. The true menace.
Just let them base. The play's over, guys, okay? Oh. Regardless, speaking of the play being over, as I said, it is LG slightly winning out as it was also tactical pushing mid while all that was going on. Now, dude, this is just unfair.
Oh, no. Are you gonna treat this man like you did in game number 2? Have you no mercy? Have you no soul? Rahel says, nah, and we'll take that kill underneath the tower.
Pretty good overstay from Disguise utilizing their previous reset, but again, True Shot Barrage gonna find the interrupt onto one of the bases. No TPs to get to that top tower, so I think Insanity might be able to knock one down. It's got the 3 grubs. It's not a lot of HP though.
1K gold lead to DSG. Another struggle of a game coming out from FakeGod. Currently,
it's all in Castle's pocket again.
And what can you really say? 1.1K separating the top laners. That is absolutely painful. And we talked about it. Late game Sion, what does he do? He just absorbs damage like there's no tomorrow.
And remember, we said that FakeGod needs to be the hero, and he is just not poised to do so. Insanity, yes, does have a couple kills.
Oh, he gets blocked out of the rebuke and hooks him in, but slammed against the wall. Insanity will still fall. 1-for-1 trade thus far, but DSG get positioning right on the Rift Herald. Now FakeGod stepping up. There might be another engage coming through. Tomio is low. He has to choose a direction because the Realm Warp is choosing him, and Tomio gets chewed up. Now Zeyzal, there's no horse, there's no Cloppity, there's no chance. Rahel will dive forward, and DSG see victory in their eyes as Rahel gets a quadra kill.
Nice quadra kill from Rahel, and that might just be the series right there. Herald getting dropped for a likely 2 towers in the mid lane. Dragon to be taken, as well as Disguised finds their moment. And even though it was Rahel getting the quad, I gotta say, that was a really nice fight for eXyu. I hope we get a replay of that one.
Yeah, we definitely got to see it. I mean, it was the gambit placed up. Once you see the Realm Warp, you have to choose a direction because they are collapsing on you quickly, and Tomio just fumbles right after that. He had nowhere to go. He ends up falling, and the entire fight resulting in an ace. And even look at Castle, who's still grabbing towers, 2.1K ahead. Look at the bot lane, Rahel, 2.4K ahead. This is a massive lead.
Yeah. Just look at this fight. eXyu finds a critical wall slam onto Insanity despite the ill-fated engage from Huhi, and that's the strongest member of Luminosity gone. And from this point, LG just needs to call off this fight. But look at this. Tomio realizes, hey, I can't run. There's a Realm Warp behind me. eXyu tackles him back towards his team, then zones out the counter engage from Zeyzal, with LG now being way too far forward. And then, I mean, this is just some cojones here from Rahel. Killer instinct, apt to its name, goes in, finds the extra couple of kills.
Rahel will, oh my God, not again. We're really watching this.
There's the Blitzcrank fan cam. I asked for it.
Blitzcrank fan cam, it's incredible. But yeah, Rahel will rain hell down upon Luminosity Gaming, and he's not stopping anytime soon.
7-0-0 on this Kaisa. That is a terrifying stat line. Now the biggest individual gold lead in the game, with Castle also being up a couple of bans. FakeGod just not looking like he's in the position to be the hero. Insanity, he died when he needed to be the hero. And Tactical, I just don't think has the champion to do it.
All right, here we go. Another focus onto Tomio, who gets pulled in. Rahel goes legendary. 7-0, the biggest bounty on his head. DSG look unstoppable, and they are bound for grand finals at this rate.
You know, I'm sure Rahel being 8-0-0 is the more interesting thing to talk about, but I'm just thinking about how Huhi now has a hat trick on that hook off of getting Tomio. So that's a big one. Yeah, man, I think this game's looking cooked. I already talked about scaling concerns as well for LG. Remember that whole, oh, Kaisa's got to hit her evolutions. Ryze has really got to get to that double stacking item spike. I'm pretty sure Darkwings has it on this base. Boom. Seraph's in inventory. 7 stacks on the Roa. Rahel rapidly approaching 3 items. He's not even going to go for the W evolve. This is a full AD on hit Kaisa.
This is as disgusting as it gets. When we looked at this matchup leading into it, you know, DSG, they had a little bit of struggle against the team of Strahl. LG, they struggled in a game, sure, but it was still a 3-0 sweep. Considering its second seed that DSG went against, its first seed that LG went against, we were expecting a closer game that was slightly LG favored, and DSG shut that all up as they continue their domination.
I mean, I gotta say, as one of the disguised believers on the casting desk here, Eric, I think people were maybe disrespecting DSG's performance in the LTA, and also on an individual level, what Ezreal could bring to the table as far as the tape is concerned. However, I do agree with you. 3-0 was not on my bingo card. Even though I favored Disguised coming in, I really expected to see Luminosity push them to the brink. And while game 1 absolutely was that, games 2 and 3, to your point, have been all disguised. And I mean, this is impressive stuff from the reigning LTA representatives. Obviously, this is not the series to promote in. It's a likely preview for a rematch. And the preview is rated R if you're an LG fan.
Hook lands onto Tactical. He doesn't buffer out of it. Zeyzal has to go forward, and he gives his life. It's another kill for Rahel. Another head put onto the trophy case as Tomio wants to escape, but Rahel says no. A double kill. The next knockup follows through. Finally, Huhi will fall, but it's all for the cause to give another one to Rahel.
Man, dude, Rahel's just hitting clips right now. He is actually clip farming in the the LTA 2026 promotion tournament. This is awesome to see. Otacon easily going to get claimed. As for the second game in a row, LG just gets vacuumed into the threat of this objective.
7.2K lead. What a dominating performance, man. This has been incredible to see out of DSG. This squad, again, 5th place when it came to the LTA North in their final split. They took Cloud9 to a series, even though they lost against them. It was 5 games, so we know this team is capable, and they feel it as well, as momentum is heavily on their side.
And I gotta say, you know, guys like Castle and Rahel playing this well, that's expected. These guys are world class and have proven themselves to be that throughout the course of their careers. But the guy that was just on our screen, Darkwings, to me, he is the story. He is the glow up. He wasn't even supposed to be in the LTA this year. There were other options that Disguise wanted to go for, but they go for the scrappy mid laner that had played for Conviction, that had played for Dignitas, that had played for AoE, and now is proving himself to more than likely be an LTA LCS caliber mainstay of a mid laner, getting the better of Insanity in back-to-back-to-back games.
I am thoroughly impressed, to say the least. This is no walk in the park of a team to go against as well in Luminosity, but they're making it look like it, and Rahel is always in the right place, right time. One of the most commanding performances that we've ever seen in this promotion match, and it is led by the entirety of this squad. They set up the T for Rahel, and he knocks it out of the park.
Man, and I mean, talking for Disguise as well, when they were having their struggles before the roster changes for summer split, you know, a lot of people were saying Huhi's got to go, Grandpa doesn't have it anymore, this and that. He is also having an immaculate series against probably his biggest competition in the role in Zeyzal. 1, 2, and 12 on the Blitzcrank. He's hit multiple game-changing hooks. I'm still really impressed by the Rakan in game 1, and it just goes to show, man, these DSG guys, they really did level up. It took a while throughout the year, but once they found their stride, they've gotten to a place that absolutely works for them.
Now it's looking like doom and gloom for Luminosity. No lane has an advantage. Your best shot is really Insanity, who isn't that far behind from Darkwings. 5 kills over to Insanity, but Mel is not exactly a champion that pumps damage like crazy. Usually needs good positioning, good choke points before you can see a Mel start to pop off. And at this point, just mentioning that feels like a cope for Luminosity, because man, are they behind.
I really appreciate the zoomed in Huhi cam that we're getting. Anytime Huhi's on our screen, we just know that someone could get hooked, as it looks like it's gonna be a side lane attempt on a castle. Baron yet to spawn, but that boy is, he's thick with 2 C's.
That's some meat right there.
That is some meat.
Let's just go back to the Huhi cam, man. Let's go back to the Huhi cam. Where are we? Hey, yeah. Huhi, how you doing, man?
It's just looking like a siege. I mean, Darkwing, shoot, he's level 16. He's 3 levels up over anybody on the opposite side. Okay, that's what we call a respectful flash, if we're being kind to Darkwings right there.
And if this really is a preview of our grand finals, DSG have nothing to worry about.
No, overconfidence is like the one thing they can't have, Eric. They still gotta lock in for the grand finals. It's a good omen. I mean, I agree. They're definitely you know, pulling one over on LG so far, but I do think, you know, even if this one is a 3-0, I would say this series more competitive than perhaps the scoreline would suggest, especially considering that game 1, but I mean, this game 3 has definitely been the most one-sided of the bunch. 25 minutes there, just straight onto Baron. They got a 12-0 Kaisa. It's gone.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Seeker's Arm Guard picked up for Rahel. So even if you get on Rahel, Rahel has more utility now to escape some of these harder engages. Or for that matter of a fact, you know, if Rahel is this far ahead, maybe just take riskier dives.
And I got to say how fun it is, too, watching Rahel this game, because we came into the series really building up the bot matchup, but honestly, Rahel didn't need to be this 1v9 carry in the first couple of games. I mean, he played great, but I think much more of that kind of full team effort that we expected out of Disguised. And this game, he said, gloves off. Time for me to outplay, and it's been an absolute treat to watch this Kaisa so far, getting good chunk on a tactical as the siege now comes down.
Baron available. Huhi gonna go wide, but it's just for show. He didn't actually miss it. He just wanted you to sweat a little bit. Waves being pushed in to the top lane, to the mid lane. Castle by himself against FakeGod has no worries in the world.
He just doesn't care.
As he will soak any damage needed for DSG to find a victory as the next wave crashes over on the top side.
Oh,
Here comes the killer instinct from Rahel, and he will take down FakeGod. Down a man is Luminosity.
And that's going to be the base collapsing, maybe even the game. 2 inhibitors potentially in their sights as Darkwings ushers in the top wave. But with FakeGod down and the absolutely disappointing amount of damage.
And they jump in, they go after Insanity. Insanity to try to bail, but he gets taken down. eXyu soak in the tower. He doesn't care, he knows victory is here. Towers under attack. DSG say, you want our spot? Come and take it. They will sit upon the throne of grand finals and await their next challenger with a 3-0 against Luminosity.
Coming into this tournament, a lot of people said, hey, it looks like LG and DSG are the favorites. We'll see what anyone else can do. And then LG blew out the Grace, and it's like, wow, this one really might just be LG versus DSG. But now, Disguised blowing the doors off of Luminosity. Maybe this tournament is just DSG, as they are looking poised to defend their spot in the grand finals on Sunday.
All right. This is like the second time this has happened. Toast, I gotta speak to you specifically. We had talked when it was DSG versus EG back in 2023 summer finals, and I said I thought EG was gonna win. I was wrong. I said LG was going to win this one. I was wrong. I'm going to stop doubting you. I'm going to stop doubting you, man. This team is good. You've built a good team, and to see them dismantle Luminosity like that, immaculate stuff.
Come on, you didn't think they were a good team the way they had their blow up in the last split of LTA? But Eric's just a hater over here, man.
5th place is good. I just really did believe in Luminosity, but I got to stop doubting.
Toast, I have something to say to you as well. I believed the entire time, so this guy's an idiot. I don't really...
You could call me bald, but not an idiot, man. Come on.
It's always a funny day when I get to throw my co-caster under the bus. You see, usually it's me that like comes in with the like, I'm gonna believe in the boys, and like I look like a fool at the end of it. So
yeah,
I gotta like take my wins where I can, but.
No way. Oh, give me the action shot. Give me the action shot.
This is the content that I asked for. Oh my goodness, though. Huhi Blitzcam. I mean, legitimately, though, he had a great game. He didn't even need the Blitzcrank theorem. There were multiple good hooks. The one that stands out to me the most is it was after LG started running away with the game, and then DSG started running away with the game, and he just hooked Tomio as LG was trying to set up the next objective, and it's like, okay, this game is completely over if the Sejuani can't even face check into this guy. And looking through the fights, Disguise was just so clean in the way they grouped together, in the way they set up. And I mean, really, the game from Rahel, man, this was just quality.
That right there was the nail in the coffin, I feel like. The moment Rahel got a quadra kill, it is terrifying. Kaisa loves to dive into fights, and when she has a lot of damage, a lot of economy, a lot of items, you will see Rahel get the stats that he has acquired. And the whole team, it is a team effort. They're setting up the T for Rahel to be able to lock these in. Even Huhi, who's constantly hooking these champions and getting the action shots from our producers. It's ultimately Rahel who looked fantastic in this. Who is he? It's Huhi, baby. And he just grabbed your jungler.
Not really much else to say. A great series, and dude, I'm so happy. I feel like when Huhi's having fun, like I'm having fun just watching him play. And I mean, really, there were a lot of questions about his level throughout the course of the year, and I think him, like the rest of the team, really stepped up, and to me, is the MVP of the series. I know it won't show on the scoreboards, you know, Rahel going like 14-0 or whatever his KD was in the final game. Yeah, that might look more impressive, but Huhi, just to me, from start to finish, was a rock solid performer on this team. But across the board, a team effort. No one was having as much fun as Huhi, though. That's
he was
very
having
important.
a great time, man. I just want his perspective of that entire game, because my goodness, the action shots were awesome. I need to see the player cam on top of it as we pull up the post-game stats. No, questions really asked right here. Rahel did phenomenal in bringing all that damage that this team needed, especially for those late game phases. I think even Darkwings was pretty good at positioning well in some of these fights. I remember the Tomio pinch that they did. He got jumped on by FakeGod, flashed out before they could even get on top of him, and was able to pump that damage for his squad. Ultimately, DSG, I mean, this was a solid performance, man. You couldn't really ask for more.
You truly could not. And, we're going to have a couple of slobber knockers over the next couple of days. SDMT, Grace, and Ezreal in particular. That's a big-time grudge match I'm looking forward to watching. We'll have 3 teams go down to 1 in terms of who will face DSG in that final match. But I think this series definitely put a lot of doubts to rest about what form Disguise would be in coming into this tournament. Yeah, they dropped the game to Ezreal. Maybe a little nerves, little rustiness that they had to knock off, but this looked like a team that was playing well together and with solid game planning, and this is looking like a team that I can expect to see in the LCS for 2026.
Yeah, it's been a solid performance from them. If this was a preview of the finals, things are looking good for DSG, especially all their members really coming together. I remember when eXyu was called up, he wasn't really given the best chance back with the original Dig roster that he was performing on. Darkwings, we were like, maybe he's going to do well, maybe not. We're not exactly sure. He wasn't seen as one of the best mid laners in NACL at the time when he did get called up, even with the spectacular performance Conviction had when he was on that roster. He's risen to the occasion beautifully. He's worked well with Castle. He's worked well with Rahel, and of course the experience of Huhi, who's been in the space for quite some time now. And to see all of this merge together into one product that can absolutely decimate some of these top contenders, it's a joy to see.
I gotta say,